welcome to our first 55 minutes reinvention session on reimagining creativity. We have invited Christian, and he will talk about, I would say, search enhanced new opportunities in whatever, creating something new. And it's great that you're here. And maybe you want to introduce yourself just in 2 sentences.
Yes, yeah, sure, Carl. Thanks a lot. We are a brand consultancy based in Hamburg and Frankfurt. 15 years in the field of corporate brand language, and since 2 years we discovered that this is also very, very important and useful in this new field of voice technologies, voice assistant systems of all kinds, chatbots, because they are basically all voice-based, obviously, but nobody or little effort was taken into bringing brands and brand language and specific, I would say, creative ways of using language in this territory, and that's our domain these days.
Cool. And I have a question, because voice, something like that, it's not totally new, right? So everyone,
right.
Probably the movie Her and so on, with your own personalized, customized operating system and so on. What do you think are the reasons why it's not getting more important? So why do you think we have reached a tipping point?
Yeah. Well, I guess first of all, the systems are technically not that advanced. People tend to be quite tough. If a system does not fulfill all the demands and wishes and promises they have heard or they expect, then they start to say, okay, that's nothing for me. It's not working like I expected, so they drop it. But that gives us time to really digest what we have to do, either on the technical side, or in marketing, or in society and media, to be ready for the moment where the conversation really starts. I mean, we are probably 5 to 8 years, that's what the experts say behind the scenes, away from real conversational systems. Now it's question answer, and sometimes the answer, as we all know, is not the one we expected and seems to be quite odd or quite simple or even silly. But I expect the systems to we've seen the curve going steep up, and I expect the systems getting into this mode of being really conversational proved in the next 5 to 8 years. And then I think that the shift to why should I type? Why should I use other methods of interfaces if that's so good working, so simple, so solid in performance? I can only tell from my personal observation that I've never used the systems in cars, because they've been there, I think, since almost 10 years. But I was always disappointed, probably wrong brand, maybe. I'm not getting into details because I was involved in some of them. The brands at least, not the systems. But I changed now to a famous German car brand from Bavaria, and I can say that, and they have a highly upgraded system, and ever since I used that first time, I never touch anything. I only use voice there because it's so solid, it's so convincing, it's so good that I would never go back to typing in where my destination is, or whatever I have to type in. So basically it's a matter of performance, of fulfillment of expectations, and of course of intelligence in what you get.
And so you, as a voice tech evangelist, any recommendations for companies or brands, what they could do in order to be prepared for this next, I would say, movement?
Yeah. Well, 3 things. Take search as an entrance point, because that's already basically there. So you should consider that as a given, and you should check yourself. Just do a quick check and ask Siri or ask Alexa about your brand and see what happens. And are you happy with this as a marketer? So that's number one. So check your performance on search. Second would be, what is your strategy? Do you have a strategy at all? I mean, all bigger brands start working on this. Little is released yet because that's kept as a company secret. But I know that some major brands are on that, and I mentioned Mastercard before, so that is one of the obvious cases of the last 12 months. Um, and the third one I would recommend is, um, think about, how can you bring audio and voice more into your people's mind in the company. I mean, at least the ones, engaged with the outside of the company. How can they better integrate these kind of channels, media, and contents in their daily work? Because it's sometimes it's simple. You do like a video, but then you can't use the audio because it's depending on the video. But once you are on production, just do some audio snippets on the side. It doesn't cost anything in addition, but it adds a lot of value once you're back and you feed audio channels and audio related contents. So it's that simple. Just take audio as the new video and just flip it around and see what happens, and you will be surprised.
Cool. And I think that, also with the trend in listening to podcasts and so on, I think that audio in itself, right, as you said, is something more important, and maybe people are maybe a little too tired just to watch movies and so on. And but just from your opinion, do you think that actually with all the technology movements that people will get replaced, so that just AI enabled system will take over and we don't need any people anymore because they will do my groceries and the ordering, and I don't need any people anymore and get in touch?
Well, as professionals, I think we both know that ultimately that's not so much a ethical question, but an economical question. Once the person in the grocery shop is the overall better solution, as a individual performance solution, then I think he or she's not in trouble. If that's not the case, by whatever reasons, the system will take over. I mean, that's pretty simple. But what I can say, and that's that it might sound like a harsh or rude comment, but it's a matter of fact that if you are on a service line, and I've often asked people on this, and it's funny to see that even the most skeptical and critical people with regards to new technology answer in my favor, because I ask them, what do you want on this service line? Do you rather want a foreign, hard to understand, and obviously not quite well educated person trying to answer your software error problem, or do you want a very clever, smart, programmed technical solution giving you the answer for your specific problem, and very reliable? So, and most of the people have, unfortunately, the very bad experience with the latter one, and a very good experience with the latest solution I proposed. So I think there is a clear indication that once the performance you get is superior to the human solution, your answer is clear.
Cool. So I think that's something probably we all have to deal with, right? With this development. And I think just from my trips to China, I think that combining it also with AI and translation services and so on, so there's much more to come.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
And so just, for the end of or a short interview. Is there anything what you say that there's one thing you have to do immediately, you have to do now in order to be successful in the near future?
I would say take the concept of brand language or of corporate language and just think about what it could do for you, and that should be enough for the moment. Then you will see the true value of it. It's just not common, but once you understand what is in it, I think you get the true value of it.
That's cool. Very great last words. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.